So, Janet, how do you feel? Let's get deep. How do you really feel about where your life is right now?
Boy, oh boy. Honestly, I think about it. It's good. I think in the past I was like, oh my gosh, I was yearning for more. But right now it kind of feels a little stagnant. Like I've gotten a job. There are other things that are moving in different areas.
Yeah.
But I still feel stagnant because I'm not doing things that make me happy.
Back again. Yes, I was missing for, is it 2 episodes now?
I think so.
Well, yeah, the last episode I was gone, but we are back again. I am back again, but now we're missing the third person.
We just do a rotation.
Yes.
There's lots of things going on in our lives, so sometimes we need a break.
Sometimes you need a break.
Sometimes you need a break. It's okay.
Nana's taking his break as needed. So we're here. Thank y'all for returning back again.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure having you guys. Guys, we made it to 400 subscribers. I don't know if we mentioned that the last time, but we've finally hit 400 for our YouTube.
Yes, it took a long while.
It did, but I think it's humbling. It's a humbling experience for sure. YouTube is not for the weak. It is not. But we thank you for those who actually tuned, who have subscribed and are, consistent in watching our episodes and commenting and sharing and all that. So we appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's get into our blessing and our blunder of this week. So once again, if you're new here or if you're coming back, well, we welcome you back. But our blessing is something that happened during the week that is a highlight, maybe something really good. Maybe the Lord showed us something. And then our blunder is maybe something that was challenging or something that was not so great for the week. So I'm going to ask Bernice to start because I got to think about mine a little bit.
Yes. So we didn't introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, she said my name. My name is Bernice.
And my name is Janet.
Yes. And we are sisters if you don't know.
Yeah.
Fun fact. We are. Let us know in the comments below who you think is older.
We all know who's older, who has the youthful skin.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for telling me that I'm looking youthful. Anyways, my blessing for this week. So I currently am not working. Just for time being, because finish school and all that stuff. So it's tax season, and when you get your taxes, you're just hoping that you don't have to pay anything back. I haven't. I think I only had to pay. I think last year or the year before that, I thought I had to pay back, but then the tax guy said he made a mistake, and so he fixed it, and I didn't have to pay. I actually got money back.
Wow.
I think last year I got like 1,000 or something. Tell me how the Lord pleasantly surprised me with more than last year.
He said double.
Yes, he gave me double the portion.
The portion.
And so because I'm not working, I was like, Jesus, thank you. Because honestly, I have things to pay for. I need to go to places and I need things to pay for. I have things to pay for. So the money came in clutch. I was so happy. I said, thank you, Jesus, for this pleasant surprise, because I wasn't sure how I was going to make it. I wasn't. Yeah. So that's my blessing for this week. My blunder, actually, it just happened today. My mom's car broke down. And that's just money just flying out the window that doesn't need to be taken out of our pockets.
Right? It's been tough.
If you know anybody who is good with cars and has a car that would like to sell to us, please let us know. Because I'm tired of having cars that break down. And then on top of that, okay, today, because mommy's car broke down, actually we don't know each other. Why are we acting like we don't know each other?
I don't know.
Anyways, mommy's car broke down, right? And then because once this morning we were trying to figure out how to do CAA. Tell me how CAA does this, where before you could be able to call for somebody, and then they can, like, the CAA will go to that person even if you're not there. Now you need to be there with your ID before they actually send somebody to. So if it's not your car, or if it's for a friend, you can't just call and be like, okay, send CAA. You need to be there. And so I was like, CAA, you guys are frauds.
Maybe they just
because if it's basically they cover each person individual, not the car. So if I have a membership you can't use my membership. You have to get your own membership, even if you're under the same family. I said, y'all just out here stealing money.
I guess, they just saw people using it and abusing it.
I was like,
perhaps.
But it makes more, I guess, because you're trying to make more money. But there should be some type of like package where it's like, if you're in the same family, you can have a discount where it's for 4 members or something like that. That makes more sense than having to have now you get the package and then a discount like $30 off, bro. Just don't give me them. CAAs, change your ways.
I know.
Anyways, that's my blessing and my blender. What's yours?
I'm struggling thinking about it, but my blessing, so it's nursing week this week, and so that means that as an allied and a clinician, as part of I'm not a nurse, but I get the benefits of nursing week. And so this week our doctors ordered food and it was delicious. We had burritos and like some nice salad. I think tomorrow going out to Penny's for food.
What's Penny's?
It's like a patio. Patio with like cheap eats. And then also like bagels. I think our manager's going to buy pizza. So all this week is goodies and treats and lovely food. And I don't got to bring lunch and I get double lunch if I want to. So that's great. And then my blunder, I don't know if it's a blunder, but today I saw a raccoon out in the daylight.
You gotta stay away from them.
In the daylight. I was taken aback. I was like, what is that? And the raccoon is just slowly hobbling over. He about to die. He or she about to die. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Unfortunately.
That was like a blunder. Like out in daylight, I've never seen that before ever in my life. And I never seen that raccoon again, so maybe it did die. But don't go close to them because they got rabies, guys. Mm-hmm. Stay away from the raccoons in the daylight.
Yeah. Random thought. I was watching something on Instagram about like a bear. So this guy was he was going to his car or whatever, and then a black bear came out of his garage. And
oh wow.
Yeah, it was actually quite scary. And so he's like, as he's doing it, he's like, hey. And so I saw, as I was reading in the caption, it said, I don't know why this is so interesting to me, but if you ever come in contact with a black bear, you fight as hard as you can. Mm-hmm. Like you don't just, but if you come in contact with, because black bears are smaller than grizzly bears, but if you come in contact with a grizzly bear, you need to play dead and lay on your stomach and play dead and like spread out your legs so that they don't flip you over. I don't know why that was something I wanted to say, but for your information.
Yeah. Or one of them, I think, is the other one. You have to be as loud as you can, like, and be as big as you can.
Yeah, look big. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you ever come in contact with bears, if you're hiking, just don't run. That's one thing they said. Do not run, because bears are actually fast. They can't go like zigzag. So if you're going to run, you have to be able to go zigzag because they can't catch up like that. But if they're going straight, they're going to catch you. So you just ended your life quickly by running. Anyways, sorry about that. That was a side note.
That was a little tangent.
Yes, let's get into our topic. So today we're not really having a topic. We're going to just have a deep talk. We're going to call it deep talks. Mm-hmm. We're just going to have a conversation and just see where it goes with there. So Janet, how do you feel? Let's get deep. How do you really feel about where your life is right now?
Boy, oh boy. Honestly, I think about it. It's good. I think in the past I was like, oh my gosh, I was yearning for more. But right now, it kind of feels a little stagnant. Mm-hmm. Like, I've gotten a job. There are other things that are moving in different areas.
Yeah.
But I still feel stagnant because I'm not doing things that make me happy.
Like, what do you mean? But what are some things that you want to do that gives you joy, that would bring you joy, I guess?
Well, like if I can compare it to a few years ago, I had a little bit more freedom to be able to do things like swimming class. So that's something that brought me joy in the last 2 or 3 years that I've done it. And I've always looked forward to it. And it's like, it just feels like I'm gaining a new skill. I'm growing in an area. I'm learning something new. Yeah. And I'm challenging myself to do something with people. And I realized that when I was swimming, like that was really something. And I was able to show a skill to someone and they were able to be like, oh, no, you did this wrong. Yeah. Or you didn't, like, I don't know, being marked in a sense, maybe, and being taught. Maybe that's just a way of maybe going back to like
So are you like you're saying like you want to be able to learn something new, like build a new skill and like be able to kind of challenge yourself in different areas.
Yeah.
Like either swimming or dancing or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I like using my body and doing a skill or even learning an art or something that is not something that I know or something maybe that I just, not something that I know very well, but I'm able to learn more about it. So those are a few things that I feel like, but that I would love to do, but I'm not currently doing that. I'm only working. So it just feels very mundane and an everyday thing. I am learning at work, but it just feels like, okay, yeah, you work, get money, and then you go home and the day is done. There's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you? Is the way your life right now how you want it or where you want it to be?
No. To be honest, at this age, I thought I would be married with kids and I would be,
I don't know why that surprises me sometimes.
that I would be at this age, like that's something I desired. Or like what did you say? What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I see you getting married, but also in my mind,
Yeah.
it just feels like a whole another life, another life because I'm only physically seeing
Right. Single Bernice.
single Bernice.
No fair. Sometimes I too, I'm like, Lord, how many more years do I have to stay single?
Oh God.
How many more years? I could mark it in the calendar. Just let me know the date. I'll put it down like it's a due date. Just like, okay, just a couple more years or 2 more years or like 2-3 more months. But honestly, like, yeah, I think where my life is right now, I'm better because before I used to be like, yo, I'm not doing anything. I don't feel like nothing is showing in my life the way that I want it to show. Because I think I was listening to something about how, like, you're praying and you're following Christ and you're doing all these things as a Christian.
Yeah.
And it's like the Bible tells you, like, you're going to prosper and like everything you do is blessed and like everything you're going to do is going to be great. The Lord has great plans for you. And then you're praying and you're fasting too and you're serving. And then it's like in your life, you don't see the fruit of what that's supposed to look like.
I done fasted.
No, seriously. I'm
How
like,
many times?
Literally.
I don't want to fast. I'm hungry.
I'm like, God, like,
It's
why
done.
is it not? Why? Because, and then you look at other people. And this is not to compare, but it's like people around you are like doing well. And the thing that's really challenging too, it's when they're younger than you and they're doing well. It's like, damn, when I was that age, I didn't do that. And it made me sad.
Yeah.
It genuinely made me sad. Not jealous. It made me sad. Like, what did I miss? What did I do? Why didn't I do this, and this? But so like just being out of school now, it's like, okay, I can see where things are moving and things are happening for me. And, it's obviously slow, but I think the Lord was trying to build up my character, build up my trust in him, build up my spiritual capacity. Because obviously, if you want to be doing things for the Lord, you're gonna face battles.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready for those battles. But like where my life is right now, I'm a bit sad. I'm all right. I'm not gonna say I'm satisfied. I'm not satisfied, but I'm okay.
Just checking.
Yeah, I'm okay. I believe that the Lord is definitely going to be doing a lot more in this season for sure. And I believe that my June and everyone's June this year is going to be fantastic. But yeah, I think a lot of it is more so like I thought I would be married with kids in a house. And my parents would be, traveling the world. I genuinely thought my parents would be retired. I did. But I think something I'm learning too, it just is this faith journey. It challenged me a lot in trusting God and like praying and then like being okay, not okay, but knowing that sometimes it might not be, the answer might not come right away.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think. Yeah, there are times I look back at my journals and things that I've prayed for and I'm like, whoa, like it's been like 2-3 years and that same thing has been on the list for like 5 years straight.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang.
Yeah.
And But then I look at it, I'm like, that's why it's very important to write things down and write the date.
Yeah.
And write when they've been answered.
Yeah.
And I've not been so like perfect at it, but like in the last year or two, I've been more consistent in looking back over my journal, maybe just casually one day, just looking at it and writing down the times and the dates that it's been answered, and it does get answered.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that reminds me, it's like every time the Lord reminds me, like, no, I am answering your prayer, just not in your time.
Yeah.
And I know your desire of your heart because you've continually
come back,
put it on your list and you continually are praying about this, because sometimes we can get frustrated, we can get tired, and we can remove it from our list because we're like, Lord, he's not answering that, or maybe he doesn't even want it from me, so now I want it so bad, and maybe he doesn't want it, so let me just take it off the list. But if it's in his word, like marriage or job or I don't know, travel, because it's not like that can't be on there, you know. He wants you to live good and, you know, do things. Like, put it on your list and believe. And I think, I don't know if this is exactly the words, but Pastor Wiley was talking about, like, you have to, like, actively, aggressively have faith, like, have aggressive faith.
Yeah. We Canadians sometimes have baby faith. We do like,
we just get
lost. Jesus, thank you. I believe.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you don't see it, you have to keep, like, you're
Violent.
fighting. Yeah, like you're fighting for it. And it's not one of those ones like you don't think it's gonna happen. It's like it needs to happen like now, right? You want it with speed.
Yeah, I think it's it challenges your faith. I've been challenged for sure, but I've also been strengthened. Like, just looking at my spiritual journey in the very beginning of being a Christian, I'm like, dang. Like,
I can't even remember what I was doing.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, I don't even remember how I was as a Christian. Probably not very passionate, or maybe I was in the very beginning. Along the way, there has been huge dips.
Honestly, I'm trying to think about Janet and like her faith. I don't even remember you. Like, I think we were just good girls. I think we were just like, just be a good girl. Don't sleep with anybody. Don't date nobody in high school. Don't do anything foolish. Don't disrespect anybody. Just be good girls. I think that's what we were living like. And we didn't fully know the love of Jesus. We didn't fully know the word of God. We didn't fully understand what it meant to be a child of God and what came with that, the inheritance that came with that. But I think over the past maybe year or 2 years.
What would you say is the year that turned for you?
For me? Yeah. I would say last year. I would say last year. I think when I got introduced to House of Praise is when I started to House of Praise and Apostle Solomon Koinonia.
Yeah.
Koinonia, right?
Koinonia.
Yeah, that specifically Koinonia actually got me going spiritually, because it opened my eyes to see the word differently. It challenged me to pray differently. And I think that's something that because you pray for, like, God, give me spiritual, like, give me more faith, give me wisdom, give me understanding, give me knowledge. And then it's like, when it happens, you don't even remember that, oh shoot, that was a prayer of mine, or like that's something that's being answered currently. Because when you are open to people of God who have grace, like a lot of grace, and you're actually closer to them, that is like the mercy of God. That's God showing you favor. That's God showing you his love for you, because he's now showing you more ways of knowing who he is, exposing you to how to read the word, or to understand the word, or to receive things from him. So I think that's something that I say from probably last year. It changed for me. What about you?
I would say, like, it started changing in 2017.
Dang.
Yeah, 2017, maybe 2018. I remember, like, I think that was, like, maybe my first Hallelujah Challenge, perhaps. It was, like, half, like, it was, like, I started it. I remember writing it down in my book, and that was when I was like, this is another level of prayer.
The fire.
This is another level of worship, because I love to worship, guys, like that. I love to dance specifically. So that is my form of worship. And that's how I found the connection with Hallelujah Challenge. And then with the combination of just prayer and like scripture being back behind it, and the the vibrancy of Nathaniel and his ministry and the people on the platform, I was like, yeah, I want their joy. I want that.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to be like dancing even if things are crazy. And I find myself doing that, going back to that, going back to the dance, going back to the worship, even when things are going crazy.
Yep.
I'm like, put on some worship music now. Because that needs to refactor my brain.
Praise is a weapon, and that's how the enemy gets defeated. I think in the Bible, the way that they got defeated is through people worshiping and praising, and after fact too, they worship and they praise once they got their breakthrough. So don't play with praise. Don't play with worship. It is a weapon. It's how we defeat the enemy, because if you're sulking, sitting down, just sighing and, allowing the enemy to get into your mind, it's you're just giving him a win.
Yeah.
But the Lord wants you to rejoice in his presence. The Lord wants you to find joy in his presence. Even if you're crying as you're worshiping, that's okay. Even if you're in pain as you're worshiping, that's okay. But it's like trusting that you're in his hands and he got you. Like, you can dance and cry.
I know.
You could praise and be laughing. Just laughing. True. Just joy. It's just joy. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to go back to that whenever those moments are down. Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
I was gonna ask, what with your faith, what has God been teaching you in this season? Or seasons, because we all have multiple and it could be multiple in like 1 month or 2 months.
That's true. I think maybe in the last month or two, something like that. Wisdom. Wisdom. You need wisdom for everything.
Yep. No facts.
For
facts.
Every decision.
Facts.
Every relationship.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like, there are points where I'm like, Lord, I need wisdom. I think it started even, I need wisdom to pick the right job. I need wisdom for you to connect me to the right people that can give me counsel.
Yeah. Or even just say the right things in the right moment.
That will just be like,
that will open the door. Yeah. Like, this person, I like this person, or, find favor in the eyes of men. Yeah.
And I think that has happened for me in the last, I struggle to make decisions. That's something that I can own up to. But during the journey of just going back into Proverbs and Psalms, and those are the books of wisdom. There's a couple of her, of course, but Proverbs is wisdom on Pro Max.
Yeah.
And just reading a couple verses and reading it over and over again and applying it and seeing how it applies to your life.
Yeah.
And just knowing that all wisdom comes from him is okay, this decision is not as hard as I thought it was anymore, because I'm not making the decision.
And it's not even wisdom. I think sometimes we think it's God is going to drop some type of word on pot. No, it's more so I'm thinking about how Solomon, he asked God for wisdom, give me wisdom, and how he came to this conclusion of how to decide who's the mother of the baby. God didn't just put it on, you know what I mean? It was him trusting that the Lord has already given him the wisdom, and then going out with the resources that he had. He's like, okay, this is what I think would work for this situation.
Yeah.
Right. And I think when we ask God for wisdom, we need to believe that we already received it. Not that it's going to come in 2 days time. It's not Canada Post where you have to wait 3 days. It's not one of those ones where you have to trust and believe that when you ask for wisdom in those moments, it's going to come. Yeah. And you have to believe that when you make those decisions, that the decision that you made was because God has given you the ability to think through the decision, think through whatever you have to, whether it's a conversation with somebody, how you're going to have that conversation, or a job.
Yeah.
When you make that decision, trusting that I believe that this is the decision that the Lord wanted me to make.
Yeah. And just sticking with it and not
wavering. Because what ends up happening is
you're oh.
Yes. It's one of those ones where indecisiveness comes in because you think the wisdom comes in a specific way.
It kind of, I don't know, it makes me envision when, was it Peter? Oh gosh, he's walking on the water.
Oh yes.
And then after Jesus oh, come. And then he's like kind of scared. He's like, actually. And then he looks down. He's like, I don't know if I want to do this or not. And then he starts thinking. It's like, that's how I feel with decisions. Like you make the decision to go and then you look around everywhere else except for looking at him because he's the one who said, no, go.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know if this is the right decision.
Yeah.
So you start to question yourself and then you start drowning and sinking and all these things. So it's like, I feel like the decisions I've made in my life have been scary, but there is that peace. Like I know it's right, but it's me that's just,
questioning whether you made the right decision or not. Yeah.
And I've seen the fruits, at least like for me in my workplace. I know that there's hardships, but like the people I work with, like I'm like, there's no way. Like the Lord has blessed me with the people. Like they're not perfect people, but the environment is supportive. It's
you don't feel like you're on your own, an island, right? There's people and that's something you prayed for too, right? You want to have good workers. You want to have people that are in an environment that you want to come into, not that you're just like, dang, I don't know why I come here every day.
Exactly.
Right. So I think that's cool. So you said wisdom. For me, I think the Lord is teaching me to trust and obey. Trust and obey. Obedience, man. But yeah, a lot of it is trusting him in the season that I'm in, trusting that the prayer that I prayed last month, he hasn't forgotten. The prayer that I prayed last year, he hasn't forgotten. The things that I put it down in my journal, he hasn't forgotten.
Yeah.
Like all the desires of my heart, he has not forgotten one bit. And it's like I don't want to rush into either doing certain things because I'm like, God, I'm ready. But then it's like when the time comes, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Or when the blessing comes, I'm like, oh God, I'm not ready for this. So I think for me, it's like trusting and obeying and like putting Jesus at the center of everything and genuinely not just saying it, but like my heart knows that this is because your heart, like that's something I've learned this season is too, my heart is so deceitful. Like, bro, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like, that's why sometimes I'm very in my head. I think a lot. I be thinking like, girl, you ain't being honest. You out here lying through your teeth. Yeah. But the Lord has shown me, especially when I'm reading the word, it's like a lot of the things that the Lord is looking for is people who have a heart for him and their heart is pure. And a lot of it has to do with surrender and trusting in the Lord. And that's something that the Lord has been showing me this year is like, trust me. Don't put your heart and be like, yeah, I trust you, Lord. And then your heart is completely, you're not even trusting me. You're doing your own thing or your mind is on a different planet and you don't trust in what I'm doing. You're not believing that what you're saying is going to come to pass. You're just saying it because you just need to say it. But I've through just reading the word this year and this week, I was like, yeah, God, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Because I was reading 1 Samuel and funny thing is I was doing elections in April and I was like, you couldn't take out your phone because I was like, damn, what am I supposed to do now? So I brought my Bible and I brought my notepad. Hey. And the one thing that I was like, I don't want to bring out my Bible and I didn't want to have like a whole Bible study.
You're like, okay.
No, literally, I was like, because it wasn't busy. So I would take out my word and then the supervisor would come around and be like, oh yeah, nothing else. Like, why am I so ashamed to do this? Girl, put the Bible out there and let them see that you're reading the Bible. But yeah, so I was like, okay, what book should I read? And I was like, 1 Samuel. I was like, okay, let's read 1 Samuel. And so far what I've read what I've learned about it is like Saul was like chosen as king. And he was just a regular young man and the Lord chose him as king. But then which is so sad because he allowed his the people pleasing, he allowed the fame get to him and then he lost the kingdom and the Lord just removed him from being king because his heart was out of alignment with what the Lord wanted him to do. And he had everything. He had everything.
Just outing me.
He had everything possible. The Lord was with him. And then there's a part where it says the Lord was not with him anymore. And then the Lord sent a tormenting spirit to him. And it's like once the Lord removes like his spirit from you, I'm not sure. At that point, there's every other spirit but the Lord is coming into you. And that to me is very scary because I would never want the Lord's spirit to depart from me. And so it just taught me like your heart needs to be in the right place. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, as you're praying, you ask the Lord to purify your heart. As you're doing these things, you asking the Lord to show you areas of your heart where you haven't surrendered yet so that you can be used by him, because the Lord wants to use every one of his children, but he can't because our hearts are always outside of his alignment because we're so, as I said, the heart is deceitful. We have our own desires, right? And so that's something the Lord has been teaching me, is just like surrender your heart, surrender your desires, allow me to mold you and shape you into becoming the vessel that I want to use so that you can go out and do all these things in my name and still receive the blessing. So yeah. Thanks, Janet. But that's the spirit of the Lord.
We're just gonna cut that as a clip. Thanks, Nana.
Funny.
Do your job.
Funny.
Sermonette for you coming soon.
Yes.
But yeah.
That's all I have to say. Anyways, I don't know. I enjoyed this. We didn't want to keep this episode's gonna be kind of short. We didn't want to keep it too long, but yeah, share what has the Lord been teaching you? What have you learned through this season, and how are you feeling right now in this season of your life? How do you feel about where you're at right now? Because, a lot of us are going through it. We're going through it, but share, comment, like, subscribe, and let us know down below. We really want to get to know what the Lord has been doing through you and through your life.
Yeah, and this is our...
Oh, yes, this is our final episode for this season. Not this season, but we're going to take a short break.
Yeah.
And we'll be back, but we're going to take a short break,
Recover, recuperate.
Yes, plan.
Pray.
Yes. Rest. It's important.
It is important.
The Lord definitely rested on the seventh day.
Oh, for sure.
And so we have to do that too. And so we won't be putting out any episodes until later on, but we have some things lined up for you. Don't worry.
We do.
Don't worry. We'll have some things lined up for you. So keep us in your prayers and do what you got to do. Go rewatch those episodes. And
once again, share them. We're doing great on Instagram. So we see you guys.
Yes, we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you all on the next one.
Bye.